Howdy guys, it's Joe here, and with the brand new cinematic of Sombra coming out, we also get to see Sombra's abilities. Now, these do actually happen to show up on playoverwatch.com /en-us/heroes/Sombra, so you can check that out if you want to, and I'll also try to leave that in the description below. And yeah, we can see her brand new kit. Thank you guys for leaving this in the comment section below, and she's looking really nice. She does seem to be quite like she was in the cinematic, and I'm overall really excited for her abilities. As well, we've been able to see her a little bit in some gameplay, as we can see right here, like Unit Lost has a bit of gameplay going on right now, so I'll link that down below as well if you want to see any, Sombra in action gameplay, and I'll probably talk about some of the gameplay in a future video, maybe even today or tomorrow. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Sombra, talk about her abilities, maybe some playstyle, maybe some kit. One thing that I want to talk about first is that it does actually happen to be that Sombra is a offense character. Now, I wasn't really expecting this. Of course, when I talked about Sombra, I said we'd probably get a support, probably get a tank, maybe a defense, but probably not offense. But it turns out she is an offense character. So now we have 7 offense, 5 support, 5 tank, and 6 defense, I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of different, kind of unique. And one thing about Sombra is that she's not like the most purely offensive tank, not offensive tank. She's not the most offensive character. She's quite offensive. She can sneak around, she can kill people, but she also does have some really cool kind of supporty mechanics about her, which is really interesting as well. Something that I really do like about the character. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about her. Right here, you can see her just doing her little thing. Let's talk about her abilities, and I'll show them, and then I'll go down and read them a little bit. So first off, we have a machine gun or machine pistol, and when I was watching people with a bit of gameplay of this, it does seem to do decent damage, but it isn't like some pistol that does a ton of damage. It doesn't seem to do as much damage as, for example, Tracer. It does seem to have a little bit longer range, but not quite as much damage, which is kind of interesting. And it makes so that it seems like she's not going to be like the best against tanks, but she will still be pretty good against everyone else and still be able to kill everyone else. From there though, let's just read this down here. So yeah, it's just a fully automatic pistol that has a short range spread. So it's pretty good. It's decent, it seems. From there we also do have hack, which seems to be like Sombra's right click, and in gameplay it looks like her right click. Now what it happens to do is that it stops all abilities. So as we can see right here, so he's going for this, you go for the hack, it stops their ability. As we can read down here as well, Sombra hacks enemies to temporarily stop their abilities, or you can also hack first aid kits to make them unusable by her opponents. Now, when I first read this, I was kind of confused about the second part. The first part makes quite a bit of sense, though. If you see an opponent, you can right-click them and you can hack them, and they can't use their abilities for a set amount of time, which is really, really cool. Something I was kind of expecting as a support type of character. From there, though, as far as being able to hack the first aid kit, this is something that I was seeing in the stream. It was really kind of cool. Sombra can just walk up to first aid kits, right-click them, and hack them, and then only her team can use that first aid kit. The enemy team could not use that first aid kit and cannot heal from there. I feel like that's a really cool mechanic. It does, kind of just counter at some enemy teams. People like Tracer, this will hurt a lot, as if you get a lot of the health packs so that only your team can use them, and then a Tracer runs around and tries to get a health pack because she pretty much needs full health in order to do really that well. Well, she won't be able to heal. She won't be able to get a health pack, and she'll be kind of boned from there. So yeah, pretty cool mechanic. Of course, you can also hack ultimates. You can hack people like Reinhardt. You can hack his right click so that he can no longer shield. Now, as far as that goes, a lot of the times, since you're the stealthy character, you probably don't want to walk in the front lines and just randomly right click a Reinhardt. You're probably going to get killed. What I am expecting that you are going to be doing is instead walk around the enemy team, get to the enemy team's backline, try to hack some of them, and then try to kill some of them. Maybe stop some of their ultimates while they're going for them, and yeah, get behind and get damage from there. As you do seem to do decent damage against, supports, offense, and defense, but I'm not sure about your damage against tanks. So I just say, as overall, as like a stealthy character, you probably shouldn't be melee range with tanks. That's just kind of how the playstyle works. From there, we also have thermal object camo, which is kind of what we just expected. So it's just a camo, as you can see right here, and the enemy team cannot see you in this camo, so you become invisible for a short period of time, during which you actually have a speed boost, which is pretty cool. But if you attack, use any offensive abilities, or take damage during your camouflage, it will be canceled. And it does last a decent amount of time. I think like 2 or 3 seconds when I was watching. I don't know the exact time, but it does seem pretty good. You'll be able to walk around the enemy team, at least in certain parts of the map. Of course, you still want to be kind of sneaky. It's not going to be like the easiest thing. You can't just like walk straight through the enemy team and hope not to get killed. I mean, I'm sure that's going to happen sometime, but you probably want to sneak around. But yeah, it seems like a good ability, and it'll seem like it's kind of hard to track you if you are using this ability. As well, this is another thing that kind of makes you not want to be in a team fight, as if you use your thermal camera, and then you walk straight into a team fight, you're just gonna get hit and that camo will go away. So really not worth your while. But yeah, pretty cool ability. Probably going to be your shift. This is probably going to be your right click. Probably going to be your left click. This is going to be your E, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so there we go with that. Let's go on to her translocator, though. So with this, she throws it, and this was the thing that I was not expecting from the trailer. I saw this from the cinematic, and I was like, what the heck? Why does she have a teleporter? But yeah, she throws it, goes far away, and then you can teleport to it. And I feel like that's a really cool ability that'll help you be able to get behind enemies. Now, as far as what we read from here, Sombra tosses out a translocator beacon, and then she can instantly return to the beacon location location while it is active, even when she's mid-flight. So she can do this really whenever. Now, this is a really cool ability, as if you happen to get this behind the enemy team, it'll make you a really good person at sneaking behind them. For example, let's say that you're on like Dorado at the beginning, and you throw this, you know, to the left area where the enemies usually don't go to. Well, later on, when the enemies are pushed up a little bit, you can teleport behind them, walk all the way up, and get behind them sneakily as invisible, and just walk up, kill them, go for them, get a lot of damage done, you know, when they're not expecting you. I think it'll be really cool to do stuff like that. As well, this will be a kind of nice escape, I'm guessing. You can just kind of throw it, try to get a few meters, try to kind of escape, or just get to areas where you normally couldn't get to, as this seems to be her only really type of mobility thing. Anyways, though, I'm feeling like it's a really cool ability, and something I wasn't expecting. As well with this, I'm not exactly sure yet if it has infinite range. I'm assuming that it'll be like Symmetra where it does. When I was watching a lot of the gameplay, I couldn't really tell. I'm assuming it has infinite range, but I can't say 100% for sure if it does yet. Finally, to the EMP, her ultimate. This is a really cool ability, and this is the type of thing that makes me think that she's like kind of like a halfway in between an offense and also a support. This and her hacking. While she does have a lot of offensive abilities, while she does sneak behind them, while she does, you know, teleport behind them, do a lot of damage, close range damage, she also does have the hack and the EMP, which stop all abilities, all ultimates, and everything from there, which I feel like is kind of supporty. So that's kind of cool. I feel like she's a more attack character, but is kind of supporty. So that'll be really nice to add onto your team. And she does bring a lot of stuff that only she brings. But yeah, as you can see right here, she walks up, they're using their abilities, she goes for her hack, and it stops all the abilities nearby. Now, of course, this will be amazing to counter enemies' ultimates, counter somebody like a Reaper, counter a Pharah, counter a McCrazy cell right there, stop walls that are in front of you, really anything. I feel like this will be one of the best ultimates to use in a lot of situations, as it just counters other people's ultimates. Of course, people like Zarya can just shoot their ultimate out, and then this ultimate won't do anything against that. But I don't know, overall, stopping all the abilities that people are using sounds insane. Now, of course, they still can attack, but if your whole team has abilities while the enemy team doesn't, you have a really big advantage for the most part. So I feel like this will be really a great thing that Sombra has that only she has. But yeah, it's a really cool ability. We can read down here. Discharges electromagnetic energy and destroys barriers and shields and hacks all opponents caught in the blast, which is including with this. And I'm not like 100% sure if it hacks first aid kits. I don't know why it would, but maybe it does that too. But yeah, overall, Sombra's looking really good, and Sombra's looking really unique. Now, like every other character in this game, she is very unique, so that means she'll probably have a lot of time where it's good to pick her, and no one really else in the game has a role that's very similar to her. Of course, there are people that will, you know, get behind the enemy lines, but as far as, you know, hacking people, stopping their abilities, countering abilities, and just sneaking behind people with actual invisibility, she's one of a kind, which is kind of cool. I really like how Overwatch has these one-of-a-kind characters. Now, I'm not really sure if, you know, on the PTR day one, if she's going to be overpowered or underpowered, as she seems to have one of those kits that could be really good or really bad depending on how well it's balanced. I'm hoping that they can balance this kit where it's not overpowered, but at the same time where it's not just completely trash. I don't know. We're going to have to wait for that. Overall, though, I'm feeling she's looking really good. She's a lot better than I thought that she was going to be. Has some extra abilities, but I feel like I was, you know, kind of close in my guessing what her kit's going to be. So, you know, I can give myself a little bit of credit there. Anyways, tell me what you guys are thinking about this kit. I feel like it's a pretty cool kit, and I am glad that they actually included all this information that we could see day one. As well from that, you can read the story if you want to. Here we go. Just pause the video. And I'm going to leave a link in the description below, and I think in the comment section, where you can check this out for yourself if you do want to see this stuff firsthand. Now, as well with all of this, after, you know, watching a little bit more Sombra gameplay that I just barely did do, it does seem that she isn't quite as fast as an assassin character as some of the other assassins. She doesn't exactly have, like, instant burst out of any of her abilities. Of course, as you can see right here, no burst, no burst, no burst. But even with this in hand, her machine pistol does do quite a huge number on the enemy team. Now, mostly what you really have to think about with Sombra is the simple fact that you have to make sure that the enemy doesn't know you're there. If you can get off, like, you know, half your clip before the enemy knows you're there, or before the enemy thinks they're even coming, then you're going to obviously be able to kill them quite easily. It won't be really way too hard. But I don't feel like she's going to be able to just run up, run straight forward, and just kill people way too fast. I feel like a lot of people will be able to 1v1 her in this case, and you're going to have to really play smart in order to win a Sombra. She's probably not going to be this easy character that you can just run up and do amazing with. You're going to have to put in a lot of time, and that's why I feel like this 3-star difficulty does make a lot of sense. If you are willing to play a character or put in a lot of time into a character and become good as them, I'd say Sombra will probably be a really good choice. She's probably going to be a character that a lot of people are going to take to Grandmaster or to at least Master, and anywhere from there, they're probably going to be able to carry themselves quite well with Sombra. But at the same time, it's going to take a lot of time, probably going to take a lot of effort, and you're probably going to have to learn a completely different playstyle from what you're used to, as there's really not many people like this. Of course, there are some people that walk behind, but they're more like bursty. Like, if the enemy team knows they're even there, sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you can take them out anyways just because you have a little bit more burst. With Sombra, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to take a tiny amount more time to learn the character, but I feel like it will be worth it, and it will be worth your time if you do want to put the time into the character, if she does look interesting to you at least. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Tell me down below what you're thinking about Sombra, or what you really want Sombra to be in the future. Make sure to subscribe if you want any more information on Sombra, any more news information, or any kind of guides, as I'm going to probably try to get one of those out as soon as I possibly can. And I'll probably also talk about some Sombra gameplay that I can get recorded from somebody as soon as possible. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a wonderful day.